Hi, everyone. I am Grace Christman. I am the Tobacco Prevention and Cessation Coordinator for Blackford County, meaning I work on tobacco prevention and cessation for Blackford County through a grant given by the Indiana State Department of Health. We work with young families, we work with people who are wanting to quit. My office is actually based at the junior senior high school where I help students quit if that is something that they want for themselves. We work with all of Blackford County, but today we're really focusing on young families, and that is why I'm presenting to all of you. So be sure to start, if you didn't do it already, do your pre-assessment so you can be entered to win some goodies like a hydro jug and some fun things like that. So make sure you do that before you go on. Um, a little quick overview of our partnership. So I received state funding, like I said, through the Indiana State Department of Health, Tobacco Prevention and Cessation Commission. We partner with mostly Head Start on this program, which is Breathe. Breathe helps people like you serving young families connect with those families and teach them about tobacco prevention and cessation, from teaching their children about it to teaching them about resources that they have that might be at their disposal to quit, and just overall educating them specifically about secondhand smoke and how it affects their children. So all of these resources are designed by Macmillan Health, which is based in Fort Wayne. And really the goal of this is just to empower and educate all of you who already have the trusted relationships with the parents. A quote that is like a big part of this training is no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. That's Theodore Roosevelt. But I could go in and I could talk to all the parents in your class and I could give them a presentation, but they don't know me and they don't trust me, but they know and they trust you. And so you are a great vessel to share that message, share the message of tobacco prevention and cessation with them. And so that is why this training is for you. So yeah. So breathe is like this is an overview of some of the services and support that we can give you at Blackford Preschool Academy. Breathe is meant to be ongoing, not just a one-time training. So you will see my contact information a lot on here. And please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, if you need more help, whatever that is. So this training is a good foundation for you, but there's always more to explore. So again, be sure to do that pre-assessment. So I have your contact information and then you can have mine. But these are just some of the components of the training. But first, let's talk about all these free resources. There's a million free resources. I'm going to go through them kind of quickly, but they can all be found on the Breathe website, which that will also be linked multiple places. And there's also the opportunity to have a hard copy of all of these in each classroom. And I will bring that to the school after spring break. So that every classroom will have that hard copy as well as a virtual copy. So before we get into all that, just wanted to let you know. Okay, so this is one of the components of the program. It's a great the hard copies of this are in the Breathe kit that I was talking about. The Breathe flip chart covers many of the topics we'll talk about today. Parents can view the front side of it. It has a basic image, like a little bit of text, and the back is a cheat sheet for you. That gives you information to share and questions that might help generate some conversation. This is great for one-on-one education, maybe during a parent-teacher conference or a home visit. I don't believe you all do home visits very often, if you do them at all. Head Start does, but it's great for a parent-teacher conference or to use with a small group of parents if you're doing any education. I don't recommend going through the whole thing with the parents, but if somebody mentions smoking in a car with their child, you can pull up a secondhand smoke, information about secondhand smoke, go through that with them. Overall, it just has some great information on there. There's also a QR code. So there's that you can scan or they can scan, and it has a video that you guys can watch together. But this is a completely guided way to talk to parents about about any tobacco prevention cessation topic out there. So the flip chart is great. You may not use it a lot. It's up to you. Another opportunity for working with parents is the parent activities booklet. It contains 9 different activities for the parents. It's basically to educate them, give them various information about different tobacco issues. They're short activities. They don't require a lot of planning or outside materials, so pretty easy. Um, Great for parent nights or other parent activity or parent gatherings. Um, One of the things about it, or one of the things that you can do is the cost of tobacco. How much is it actually costing them, especially with the prices being raised in June or in July this year or last year. So they might not understand how much they're spending on tobacco. Another one is planning for a tobacco-free life, or also like marketing, tobacco marketing, which we'll talk about a little later. There's also these handouts, which there's over 20 of them. You can download them and print them yourself or share them electronically with parents via email or newsletters, however you communicate. You can also use them if there's like an individual need. So again, if a parent is talking about secondhand smoke exposure, you can give them that secondhand smoke handout. If their child is, if you're talking about their child's asthma, that's a great handout that you can share with them. There's over 20 of them. Great to be used in one-on-one, great to be sent out to the whole class, however you'd like to use it. Again, these are online and in the brief kit that I will be giving you. So feel free to look through all those and kind of, it's a lot to take in, but there's a lot of great handouts and resources that will be given to you with this training. Some more parent stuff before we get into the children's stuff. You also have access to 49 individual worksheets that are great. Some of them are for tobacco users, some of them aren't. You can download the whole set of them, so all 49. You can download each of them individually as a PDF. They can be filled in by parents with you, without you. It really is great for goal setting, planning a healthy environment for their child, all of those things. So there's a ton of topics. Feel free to share those with parents as well. So into some of the children's activities, which I can see all of you using this pretty frequently. All of the children's activities that we talk about, all the children's coloring pages, all of that, it is not tobacco specific. We talk a lot about healthy bodies. We talk a lot about healthy lungs. And it overall is just great for health. These activities work best for ages 3 to 7. Again, they're simple activities that don't require a lot of prep, don't require a lot of materials. And again, they're not overly tobacco specific. Instead, they're focused on healthy living, healthy bodies, all of that stuff. So I really like these children's activities. They're great. There's 15 of them. I utilize these a lot. I can foresee all of you using them too. They're very easy to use. There's a ton of color. It's a coloring book, but there's a ton of pages that can be downloaded. These are only on the website. These are not in the kit, but feel free to print as many as you want. There's all different kinds. Again, focused on healthy bodies. You can have the children do them as a classroom activity. They can be sent home or used at events like a parent-teacher conference to occupy the children while you're meeting with their parents. But overall, there's so many ways to use these. Great for all different ages. And I really, really I think kids enjoy this too. It's a fun little thing that they can do while they're learning. There's also some breathe videos. These are for parents, but you can share them on social media. You can send them in an email, however you want to use them. They're 2 to 3 minute videos specifically about tobacco related messaging. Yeah, here's some of the topics: pregnancy and smoking, vaping, tips for quitting, things that they can do with the child, like those breathe children's activities that they can do at home. These are all also on the flip chart. So these are the videos that are on the flip chart QR codes that I talked about earlier. But yeah, all the links to the videos are also on the Breathe website, and I will be sharing that again at the end of all of this. There's also some social media posts. If you're not in charge of social media for the preschool, that's completely okay. These are great to put in a newsletter, great to put in an email, but they're all ready to go, and there are a million of them. So you are in luck. But they're great, a great short way to get a message across that people understand. And it's just great education to share with the parents. All of these materials are also in Spanish, so if you serve any Spanish-speaking families, most of the materials are in Spanish or they are coming soon. So that was a need that was seen and is being filled. So keep that in mind. Those are all on the website. They do not come in the hard copy of the Breathe kit. This is my favorite one. I utilize this a lot in my work, but the Breathe e-newsletter comes monthly. All of you will start to receive it. Um, it it is so easy to download, print, share with others. Feel free to forward it. Please forward it to your parents. It's a great way, again, to share some education. Pretty easy. There's always a seasonal focus. So this month it was St. Patrick's Day, March Madness, and in March. But there's always like this one is Thanksgiving. Again, so easy to print, share, to send to forward to your families, and put it on social media. And now it's also in Spanish. So again, I love this. There's a million ways to use it. Please, please use it. It is one of the most simple things to use that come when you're using these Breathe materials. So again, all of these Breathe materials are available online. You can download them at justbreatheindiana.org/4partners. Again, you'll find that link here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, please utilize this. It's great. It takes a little bit of digging to get through the website, but it is totally worth it. But it is all, you can find it all in that For Partners tab. So here's some creative strategies I kind of wanted to share with all of you that you can use instead of that go kind of above and beyond the let me send this to a parent. Utilizing those classroom activities to fill classroom time, throwing them in backpacks to send home to parents, emails. A bulletin board is a great one that you can kind of change seasonally, sharing all this information at the different events that you go to or at parent nights. If you text your parents regularly, some of this information can be sent that way. There's also a list of text messages, like ready to go text messages you can send parents. There's like 100 of them, I'm pretty sure, on that website. Social media and that newsletter is amazing. We love the newsletter. So keep your eye out for that every month. So I know I talked a lot about the materials in that kit, but I kind of wanted to set the stage and talk to you very quickly about why this work is important and why it's important at such a young age to talk to young families about this. For many decades, the tobacco industry has been hard at work selling these products. So they spend billions and billions and billions of dollars every year aggressively marketing these deadly products. So here it's basically insinuating that if you stop smoking or you don't smoke, then you will get fat, which is absolutely horrible. It's horrible messaging. But back in the day, this worked. And newsflash, it's still working today. All of their marketing tactics are still working. So it's extremely aggressive, extremely deceptive. And we want people to understand all of these marketing techniques so they don't fall for them or they can make an educated choice. These pictures are not from Blackford County, but they are definitely legit. These happen. As you can see, the tobacco products are placed right in front of the ice cream and candy. Sometimes the packaging mimics popular candy. So if you see this picture on the right, the little girl, she's holding 5 gum that looks just like a pack of Camels. Like, look how similar that looks. So they're marketing towards our children. They're making it accessible. easy to grab with the bright colors. It can be really dangerous for our young children. More targeted marketing. Again, look at how close all the Zyn and the cigars and things like that are to the candy, all within reach of little hands. And then we see Newports, Maverick, all of those tobacco products out in the front of every gas station, talking about all their low prices. So again, they develop new products to get around different laws that exist and recruit new customers because, of course, it's right by the little pony that our children love to ride. And it's just appealing to children. And this is not, again, those pictures weren't from Blackford County, but they are at work in our community. So I want to go over a few myths that also come along with tobacco use, things that you might hear from your parents, and then you see how we can use them to use the Breathe resources to kind of combat this and help our students. So one of them is that tobacco use is no longer a problem. Kind of with the rise of vaping or using tobacco nicotine pouches, people think that tobacco is no longer an issue, but in actuality, 14.5% of Indiana adults currently smoke and 8.5% currently use e-cigarettes. This is a lot higher in Blackford County for a lot of reasons, but it is a lot higher in Blackford County specifically. Indiana is part of Tobacco Nation, which is one of 12 Midwestern or Southern states with these high smoking rates, higher than the rest of the country. And smoking is much higher among people on Medicaid and those with low incomes. So I said earlier, Blackford County's rates are a lot higher, and that is one of the reasons because we have higher rates of people on Medicaid and higher rates of people with low incomes. So this is definitely legitimate. This is a problem. Tobacco use is a problem. Another myth that kind of goes along with that is that people who smoke are only harming themselves. But we know that secondhand smoke is extremely dangerous, especially to children. They're one of the most vulnerable populations when it comes to this. It harms the pregnant woman or it harms the baby and pregnant women if a mom smokes while she's pregnant. Beyond that, secondhand smoke causes ear infections. So some children in your class might be chronically out for ear infections or bronchitis or pneumonia. You might have some students who have asthma attacks frequently or learning difficulties. And it actually can also lead to increased risk of cancer and heart disease in adulthood, even if they've never smoked. So it is very dangerous. And secondhand smoke is a large concern. Tobacco use and smoking affects not just the smoker, but also the people around them. So here's a little kind of thought, think through this and think about what Breathe materials you may use or what you could how you could help Jessie. So during a parent-teacher conference, Jessie shares concerns about her son's asthma. You learn that Jessie's partner smokes around her son. So what are you going to do? You could A, offer Jessie the parent handout about asthma. There might be multiple right answers. B, you could chastise Jessie for putting her son in harm's way and encourage her to leave her partner. You could C, work through the how to talk to others who smoke around you worksheet with Jessie. Or D, encourage Jessie to talk to her son's doctor about creating an asthma action plan. So think about that really quickly. How could you help Jessie and what materials could you use? So I'm going to say A, C, and D are all great options. Offering her the parent handout, working through the smoke, how to talk to people who smoke around you worksheet, and encouraging Jessie to talk to her son's doctor about creating an asthma action plan. But we definitely don't want to chastise Jessie. We want to make her feel comfortable and welcome and seen and heard, and not like a bad mom because she's not a bad mom. But what we want to do is give her resources instead of making her feel bad. So think about that if you have conversations with parents. Third-hand smoke, like we kind of touched on earlier, secondhand smoke. Third-hand smoke is what you smell on clothes, and homes and cars after somebody's been smoking. It's that kind of lingering. It's not when a child is being smoked with in a car. That is secondhand smoke. However, thirdhand smoke is kind of what sticks around on our clothes, things like that. So the chemicals still stick on clothing, furniture, carpet, curtains, hair, car seats, toys, and pets long after the smoking stopped. When you get into a car, when you buy a new car, and you can tell that a smoker used it before. That is thirdhand smoke. And contrary to popular belief, thirdhand smoke cannot be removed by opening windows, using air conditioners, or only smoking in one room. It lingers. It's still not safe. Everyone is at risk for thirdhand smoke, especially infants, and especially young children. We know that infants put everything in their mouths. They're constantly putting things in their mouths. And children who are being held by a person that is a smoker, it might be on their clothes. And if their head is right here, they're just inhaling that thirdhand smoke from their skin, their clothing, their hair. And this says infants breathe in 4 times as many chemicals as an adult from walking across the same area. So infants and young children are definitely affected by thirdhand smoke. Some common places that that children are exposed. It doesn't have to be in their home, but it can be. And it doesn't have to be in their cars, but it can be. They can be in public places, at a caregiver or relative's house, like at their aunt's house after school. That's where they get dropped off. That could be where they are being exposed. At playgrounds and parks, even though we have different laws and restrictions put in place, it doesn't mean people listen or they're enforced. And at entrances to stores and restaurants, that's another one. We can't smoke inside anymore, thank God, but people smoke somewhere. So it's usually outside of stores and restaurants. So be aware that these are some of the places that some of the students may be getting exposed, even if it's not in their home. But one of these great resources that you can use to kind of get parents thinking about this is the Pledge for a Smoke and Vape-Free Home. There's also one for a smoke and vape-free car, which I really like. These can be found in the parent worksheets, but it basically gets parents thinking, where are my children being, where are they getting secondhand smoke exposure, the thirdhand smoke exposure? How can I change my ways to reduce that? And it just gets them thinking. So I really, really like these. No pressure for them to turn them back into you, but it's something that they can put up in their car, in their house, fill out, what have you. Real quickly, I want to go over the smokeless tobacco and nicotine pouches. They also, people So Zens are becoming more popular, and people say, well, it doesn't have tobacco in them. They're tobacco-less pouches, like this isn't hurting me. It's synthetic nicotine that is in these pouches. It definitely does have adverse effects, increases your heart rate. Oral cancer is on the rise. This nicotine pouch is put in your gum, and then it's just like kind of like chew absorbed through your gums and the lining of your mouth. But people say this is less dangerous. It's just as dangerous, higher even for risk of nicotine poisoning among young kids, because while these like discs or like what the nicotine pouch comes in are childproof, they can be opened pretty easily. And if a child ingests that can be nicotine poisoning. So really dangerous. It's important that these products are not in the hands of children. But these are two things that you might hear parents talk about, or you might hear children talk about. So keep these two products, smokeless tobacco and nicotine pouches, on the forefront of your brain as well. Another myth is that vaping is safe. It's just water vapor, when we know that e-cigarettes don't just emit water vapor, it's an aerosol. These e-liquids that are vaped, so it's what's in the vape and then blown out, that becomes the aerosol. But the e-liquid that they vape in contains ingredients similar to regular cigarettes, even though they try to tell you it doesn't. There's lead, acrolein, all sorts of other nasty, dangerous chemicals. And the e-cigarettes and vapes can come in all sorts of different forms. This is just a small look at what they can look like. And they are not a proven cessation tool, so they do not actually help you quit smoking. In fact, more people become reliant on the e-cigarette instead of the tobacco, the traditional tobacco combustible cigarette. So again, you might hear these things from parents. It's important to correct it in a kind way, because it's dangerous information to believe. But it is not just water vapor that comes out of these. It is aerosol. Again, with the nicotine poisoning, e-liquid, so what is in the vape, is extremely addictive. Nicotine poisoning can be deadly, for pets, children, adults even. So if a person drinks, sniffs, or touches the e-liquid, again, can be very dangerous if it falls over, if it spills, if a child gets a hold of it, again, very dangerous. E-cigarette batteries can also explode. This happens quite a bit, and can cause burns. Some people have fires because of it. So it's not safe to vape around children, and it's especially not safe to leave vaping products around the children. Just to quickly go over marijuana. So a myth that you will probably hear, you may hear in your everyday life, is marijuana is natural and therefore safe to use while pregnant and around kids. So we know that that is not true. You're still ingesting it. You're still smoking it. You're still using it. It is not safe. Children exposed to secondhand marijuana specifically have shown traces of THC in their urine. They can be triggered to have asthma attacks as well. And they can also experience some reduced memory and coordination, some birth defects during pregnancy, things like that. So yes, so secondhand marijuana smoke is a very dangerous thing, and it's important that we correct anything we hear about marijuana as well. So one of the best things parents can do for their own health and their children's health is to quit tobacco. Quitting helps make our community healthy. Health outcomes create improved health equity. So people feel better together. We don't have these large gaps in people's health and socioeconomic status. You can't make someone quit tobacco. It's not your responsibility, but you can offer support. And so that is the whole point of the Breathe program, is if you have an opportunity, you feel comfortable saying something, or offering that support. Not correcting, but not helping them navigate just the crazy world that we live in. So nearly 70% of adults who smoke say they want to quit. More than 50% of adults who smoke made a quit attempt in the past year, and it usually takes 8 to 11 quit attempts to successfully quit. So it's a process. Quitting is a process, and support is vital, but help is also available. So I want to run through a couple of those resources with you. And again, you will have all of these resources that you can give parents, you can use yourself, you can share with the community. But yes, help is available. So one part of talking to parents is asking them, do you currently smoke or use other forms of tobacco? Has anyone in your house been exposed to secondhand smoke in the last week? You can do this during home visits, parent-teacher conferences, on forms, a get to know you kind of thing if you want, if you feel comfortable. A lot of times this will come up in conversation, or you'll smell it on the child. So ask non-judgmentally. That's the thing. Don't feel like we're condemning them, but feel free to ask if that's something you feel comfortable with. If you're going to ask, make sure that we advise the person to quit, in a clear, strong, and personalized way. So saying it's important for you to quit smoking for the health of you and your child. That's the clear and the strong part of advising somebody. And then personalize it if you feel like you can. So I know about you're worried about your son's asthma. If you designate your home and your car as smoke-free zones, Timothy could have less asthma attacks. Again, this is advising non-judgmentally after maybe something has been brought up already, like their child's asthma. And then this is the key part, referring. So refer to evidence-based and accessible resources, which we have available. So think about saying, talk to your doctor about quitting and improving nicotine replacement therapy. Nicotine replacement therapy is lozenges, patches, or gum that they can use instead of smoking or vaping. You can call Quit Now or text the Quit Now number. It's free. They'll help you create a customized quit plan, and you might get the free nicotine replacement therapy like patches, lozenges, or gum. And then learn more about quitting and get the support you need at quitnowindiana.com. You can hand them, there's actually business cards that you can hand them. So they have that information. You don't have to remember all of this stuff. Um, so, yes, so kind of to wrap up here, there is hope, there is help, and you can be a part of the solution. Um, I want to leave you kind of thinking about how it is not our responsibility to make others quit. It's not our responsibility to force that on others. But if you have an opening, if you have the opportunity, if you feel convicted to talk to a parent about it for the health of their children and themselves, then feel free. We want to make sure you have those tools in your tool belt as part of Breathe. But don't feel like this is a conversation you have to push or a conversation that if you don't feel like you're comfortable having, don't have it. But it's really, honestly, a big part of Breathe is just giving resources, maybe unprompted through the newsletter, through things, through lessons with their children, and start that conversation, or just let them have those resources and do it on their own if that's something that they would prefer. But we want you to feel comfortable and be able to share this information with the parents in your classes. Again, you can find all of the materials that I shared either in that physical Breathe kit, that hard copy kit that I will drop off with Shaylee. Every classroom will have one. And then also you can find every single piece that I talked about, which was a lot on the justbreatheindiana.org, or I guess it's justbreathein.org/4partners. Again, all of that information is in that first letter that you got the link to your pre and post assessments and this video on. So yeah, feel free to, now that this training's over, utilize those materials, fill out that post assessment. That way I can get you entered to win the Hydro Jug and some other fun things. But thank you for the work you do with young families in Blackford County. I hope this can make your job a little bit easier. It's not, I hope you don't see it as something you have to do, but something that it's a great opportunity to use with your families and with your children in your classroom. So yeah, if you have any questions, make sure you fill out that post assessment and utilize these resources if you would like. You can always email me. My email is grace@tobaccofreeblackfordcounty.org. You can reach out to me anytime. I will be going on maternity leave around April 14th-ish, and we'll be back through after the July 4th holiday. But please enjoy your summer, enjoy wrapping up your school year. And if you have any questions about how to implement this, please reach out to me. I will be happy to get with you. But thank you all so much. Don't forget to fill out that post assessment, and good luck with Breathe in your classrooms.